Alright, Mr. Glover, so I didn't have enough space on my phone to make one big video, so I had to make one, upload it, delete that video, and then make the second part of it. So I'm just going to continue where I left off. So I was at explaining the different points on the graph. So we got the 0, -1 down here. So now let's start with all the different angles right here. So the pi over 6s and the pi over 3s, they're kind of like inverses of the x. For the pi over 6 is always going to be square root 3, fix it, over 2, and the y will always be 1/2. And then for the pi over 3s, the x will be 1/2, and the y will be square root 3 over 2. And then pi over 4s are always the same. For x and y, it's going to be square root 2 over 2, square root 2 over 2. And then, just depending on the quadrant it's in, that'll determine whether it's positive or negative. So we have a pi over 3, so it would be, in quadrant 2, so it would be -1/2, positive square root 3 over 2. We have a pi over 4, so it would be negative square root 2 over 2, square root 2 over 2. We have a pi over 6, so it would be negative square root 3 over 2, 1/2. And then we'll go down to the third quadrant where everything is negative. So we have a pi over 6, that's negative square root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. Another pi over 4, negative square root 2 over 2, negative square root 2 over 2. And a pi over 3, and negative 1/2, negative square root 3 over 2. Let's go to the fourth quadrant. We got a pi over 3, so it's in quadrant 4, so 1/2, negative square root 3 over 2. And another pi over 4, square root over 2, negative square root 2 over 2. And another pi over 6, so it would be square root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. And obviously we have the 1, 0. So that's the unit circle, as you can see. I don't know if I can fit the whole thing on my camera, but yeah, that's the unit circle. This is really helpful for I don't know, it's really helpful for SOHCAHTOA of triangles and for angles. Like if you wanted to find the tan of pi over 4, you would just do x or y over x, which is really just the same number over itself. There'd just be 1, so the tan of pi over 4 is 1. So yeah, it's helpful for a lot of things when it comes to graphing, as you can see here, and angles and triangles. So I mean, it's really not that hard of a concept. It's just memorization. If you put the time into actually study it and memorize it, then it's pretty simple. Then you could use the tricks like I did with like just counting the pi over 6 and counting the pi over 4s. And then really, I mean, you don't have to memorize the angles. You could just sub in a 180 for pi and then just work that out, or you could memorize the angles. So then basically the only thing you really need to memorize is the points. But I mean, pi over 6 and pi over 3, they're inverses of each other, and then pi over 4 is always square root 2 over 2 for x and y, so it's pretty simple stuff. And so that's the unit circle, and I hope you enjoy this video.